Didn't see you there. Welcome to Hi-Ho Stable Garage. This is a different video. We're on, we got the whole truck loaded up there with all the tools. Actually, a plumb full of tools. We have a tent. This is a 3-day adventure that we're gonna take you guys on. And we're gonna go see if we can go revive a truck that's been sitting for over 15 years and see if we can drive her home. Welcome to Hi-Ho Stable Garage. Na, 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 na. All right, so we just filled up the tank there. You know, this one only costed about $4 to fill up. This one on it, we're already basically after food and a little bit of, you know, Princess Auto supplies, the bare necessities, you know, fuel, food. This is going nowhere. I mean, fuel, Princess Auto necessities, a little bit of camping stuff just to make sure we got the stuff. We're already about $300 into this escapade. Yeah. It's gonna be a little bit expensive, but we got about, I don't know, 400 clicks to go, so off we go. We'll see you later. This is the old truck in question there. As you can see, there's a little tree growing out of it. We got our little front end companion just kind of hanging out. Little tree growing all the way up. We'll cut him once, you know, this truck moves around. But the grill and all that seem to be in good shape other than that bezel right there. The bumper seems to be in all right shape too. Used to have something attached right here, likely a light of some kind, something that's kind of along those lines. A little bit of fender bender damage, but that's okay. It's an old work truck. It looks like something backed right into it. There's another wood truck over there, kind of around the same height with the deck. Almost looks like the deck backed into that, but who's really to say? That's lost with time now. F350 flavor. Last on the road in 2014. Looks like the windshield wiper blades have seen better days and they're no longer a thing, but that's okay. I'm sure out of all these old vehicles here, there might be a windshield wiper that might work. So let's go front to back on this truck and let's just see what exactly it needs. Let's start off at the back. The door panels, we got the PFD, couple small tires here. We got a big patch right up in here. It's likely a little soft. Actually, it's a little soft right here too. Not gonna lie, but that's okay. We don't need to worry about the structural integrity of the bed. That's crazy. We're just gonna clean this stuff out real quick. Maybe throw it into that truck right there. That way we have a nice clean bed. So give us a second. We got all the stuff out of the bed of the truck. That way you're bouncing around, it doesn't just tumble out. Let's keep going down the side of this truck and let's see what we see. Coming off to the side there, we got some nice wood sides on this steel bed. Tires, however, we're showing a little bit of weather crackage all along the sides of them. It's not exactly ideal. As you can see, If you look, the tires, we got big weather cracks running all throughout these tires. Likely just from sitting, tell you honest truth, but they all seem to hold air, at least the two that I just checked. Kind of take a look at the frame. Looks to be all there. Nice little tiny muffler, that's pretty cool. Definitely OEM. Got a little bit of bondage. Nothing too crazy, nothing you got to really worry about. It looks like it's Canadian rattlesnakes. It looks like it's actually a PTO driven hydraulic dump, just because I don't see the electric hydraulic pump anywhere. So most likely there's a pump off the transmission inside this. We got the old mirror wires just hanging out. Cap corners seem to be kind of there. Rockers seem to be kind of there. There's Bondo on a little bit of this. Nothing too crazy. Can we open the door? Oh yeah, the door opens nice and easy. We'll swing around through this cab, but right now we'll just take a look at the rockers. They look to be there. Bottom of the doors, a little crisp, but it looks like it's in one piece. Huh, even the door hinge is all right. That's neat. There. This fender actually doesn't seem to be in that bad a shape. Same deal with the tires though. We got big weather cracks all the way on the sidewall. I wouldn't trust these tires for very long. Let's just say that. We can figure it out. This is High Hill Stable Garage you're talking about. It actually looks like this is a heated mirror. The reason I say that is because we got a little electrical cord running inside this mirror right here. I think it's actually been cut, to tell you the truth. I don't think it's doing the heat anymore, and I don't think it's doing the light anymore. Don't think that's a thing that these are currently doing. But that's okay. That's all right. We don't got to worry about that. Door's a little crisp. There and there at the bottom. Let's open this guy up. How's the door on this one? Hinges are gone, but it's okay. It still closes, so that's all you need. So, this side. Definitely been worked on before. I can see the spot welds where it was. It's held up pretty good. Oh, there's not a lot of floorage. As you can see, that likely matches the other side floor there. We never really looked at that one. I just felt it, you know, give like a trampoline, but that's okay. Trampolines bounce back. This doesn't. But that you don't gotta worry about that at all. So do the, oh, look at that. Windows, you see that? It's not what you want. Oh, no, not what you want. But that's okay. We're just gonna leave that window up, just in case it, you know, flops out there. This is the hood release right here. It's underneath your wiper motor button thing, and your lights, your dinguses. That's your e-brake. Do not push that unless you want locked up tires. We're gonna play like, we're gonna pretend that we got a clutch, and we're gonna pretend like we got brakes. We're not gonna touch those yet. First time I've seen underneath this in a quite a long time. Well, let's see, it's like every other old Ford. Ford has a button that you push down instead of every one that goes up or to the side. Ford's revolutionary. It didn't really catch on, but you know, it's okay. Just gonna push that down. Oh, you don't even need to hit this one. Open her up. Okay. Alright, so there's a little bit of things to digest on this. It's a 4.9 liter. This is the 300 i6 model. 6 in a row, ready to tow. As you can see, it's all there. 80s, I got the carburetor. Some things I see automatically. We have a battery. That doesn't happen very often. I doubt it has any charge. We got a nice splice inside our upper rad hose. That's all right. I hear something gurgling. Oh, okay, it's over here. So we got no rad fluid, but you don't need rad fluid. You don't gotta worry about rad fluid. We'll remedy that. We got another thing here too. Not quite sure what's going on with that one. We'll have to figure that out. I'm not quite sure. It looks like it's just water, to tell you the honest truth. Got hornage. That's actually some newer wiring right there to this. Horn's disconnected. Wonder why. Likely stays constantly on, which is awesome. What else we got here? Still looking a little crisp, but that's okay. Let's check the fuel cap. See what's underneath it. All right, so not a whole bunch of condensation. That's a good thing to see. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of oil up top, but that's all right. It hasn't ran in a long time. I've been avoiding the obvious. That's a DuraSpark box. That's what controls our distributor. Well, as you can see, she's a little cracked up. Sometimes these DuraSpark boxes, they're quite robust. They might survive for a long time, but usually when they're all exploded like that, they're no good. Or they're a ticking time bomb, but we'll see. We'll see if we can start that because we don't have one, so that's, let's hope. It looks like all the spark plug wires are there. Got a mechanical fuel pump that's not hooked up. That's awesome. It's a good sign. It's a really good sign. Makes you wonder what was going on there, but it's all right. It's not hooked up. That's okay. Got a couple things teed off. There's a lot to digest on this, but let's go inside the cab, just see what we're dealing with, and then we're going to start fiddling with this engine. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Check this out. Trucker CB used to have a little bit more bungee life than this bungee. It's more of a rope now, but bing bing, you know, got all this stuff. It looks like it's an old Radio Shack unit. Definitely staying inside the truck. Pretty darn neat. What do we got? We got a stereo, all that kind of stuff. Basic gauge cluster. 181,819 kilometers on this truck. It doesn't look like it's been rolled because it's actually one of those 6-digit odometers plus the little guy that, you know, flicks around, the white one. So this can go to 999,99999, like 6 nines. It takes a lot to roll over. This doesn't have 1,000,000 kilometers on it. That's guaranteed. What do we got under here? Nothing. It's the factory steel topper for. Nothing too crazy there. No keyage, but that's okay. I'm sure there's a keyage somewhere. What do we got here? What is this? Is this keyage? Let's see. Oh. Huh. When I slide this in, it does activate. There's a key buzzer on this. But you know what's wild? That means there's charge in this battery, which is crazy. It doesn't sound like there's an awful lot, but there is charge in this battery, which is absolutely nuts. But the disappointing thing is this is not the key for this truck. It will activate the buzzer, but it's not the key for this truck. So we got some things down here. Not quite sure what these guys are yet. Might be for the PTO. That's most likely exactly what that's for, is for the PTO. Unless that's for the PTO. There's some PTO stuff going on around here. But we got a nice little air freshener. Oh, what do we got in here? Look at that. We got another key. Hey! Hey! Well, let's just see. Roll thunder. Yeah, that's a hopeless dream. So we got keyage, which is awesome. We don't have to drill this lock. We're gonna leave him out of there because that's kind of annoying. It's gonna keep on the entire time. Let's check hornage. I don't think we got hornage. No hornage, but that's also because the horn's disconnected. We saw that up front, but you know, idiot check. Oh, we got one of these guys. Grampy was a smoker there, so this has likely been well used. But let's just see if it works. I think it does work because it's a little warm. Oh yeah, it's a lot warm. So it does work, but there's not enough battery juice in that battery to run this guy just yet. We'll try him again later just to make sure. So what else we got? We got a little bit of paperwork here. I'll go through that myself and just kind of see what we got going on there. Some old pants, kind of stuff. What we got in here? Expect mice. Any mice? Yeah, a little tiny bit of mice. Couple bulbs in there. The hinge is definitely 100% Caesar salad, We have a nice fix. It's called WD-40 for that. But we're gonna close that. We don't need to know anything inside there. So normally it's a press-on shift knob with Ford on all their trucks, like on all my T19 4-speeds and all that kind of stuff. It's a press-on knob, it's splined on, that kind of stuff. This one here is actually threaded on, and it's not a custom shifter unless it's welded down at the bottom. But you got your 1, 2, 3, 4 R pattern. It matches, but it makes me wonder what kind of transmission this is. But those 3 pedals, we got bigger fish to fry. We got to see if those guys work. First dangerous one, because it's another thing that we forgot. Clutch. I think it's there. It's hard to say if it's a mechanical clutch or if it's a hydraulic clutch, but we'll take a gander. If it's a mechanical clutch, then that makes sense. That's a good feel. If it's a hydraulic clutch, it's a little weak, I would think. Brakes? Well, it's stiff, so take that however you will. That might mean it's good. Might mean it's, you know, seized. But it's stiff. Huh. We'll have to see what's inside that master cylinder. Throttle. Alright, so it looks like our complete pedal assembly is actually working the way it should, which is awesome. So what we're going to do, the next course of action in all of this, I'm going to go through this cab off camera. I'll bring you guys in for anything I see that might be useful to us. Everything else, we're just going to stack it off inside a different vehicle or whatever. But yeah, we're going to go through this cab and make sure we're not missing anything on the inside. Alright, so we cleaned all throughout the entire truck. This is kind of what we found on the cab. Some things, you know, makes you wonder what's going on underneath that air cleaner. But it's a wood truck, so we got our log grapple type deal, a little handheld log magoo. Got a whole bunch of cordage, which is awesome because we're likely needed to, you know, tie up old parts that's kind of hanging off here. Check this bad baby out. Grandfather personal axe for basically this truck. It was up underneath the seat of this guy. That guy and this guy likely worked in pairs for the entire time he was delivering to Fredericton. We also found through paperwork a couple of receipts for basically his permits for delivering firewood up to Fredericton, for basically having a, I think it was called a fuel wood stand. I think that's what they named it in the paperwork. But yeah, so that it's very cool. There's a lot of history on this truck within the family and everything like that. But yeah, we have the wood stuff there. We actually have a good pair of pants, which is awesome. I'm not about one to throw away a good pair of pants, so thanks, Grampy. We're gonna be using those pants for sure. That's definitely something that's gonna happen. 2 exhaust donuts. Not quite sure if it's to this truck. I doubt it because it's a log style exhaust manifold, but they're most likely replacement donuts to something. So we got those. Some type of gasket, again, kind of is like an exhaust type material. These are 2 used front wheel bearings. Makes you wonder if they are changed out on the front or if those ones are just about ready to go. And, you know, he's carrying a couple spares to, you know, throw inside there on the side of the road when those ones finally go kaput. But we got 2 used wheel bearings right there. This looks like almost a push button start, tell you honest deal. It's in really, really bad shape. It was underneath the seat. I'm not sure if it's to anything on this truck. Key, you guys already saw that. Glove, and a couple steel brackets. So, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna tuck all this stuff back under the seat. Oh, no, I completely forgot. We got Grampy's old hard hat for this truck. Definitely staying with this. A replacement Ford emblem for the front. See how this one's all kind of destroyed? He was gonna slap a new one into that there. So, see if I brought some super glue. If I did, oh, there we go. Good. Played Plinko on one, but I think, oh, you know what? I don't think it's a replacement. I think it's just, I think that's just the one that had to go on there. It's all right. I brought some JB Weld. We'll clean that up. JB Weld. Bam. Done. Here's the big one. Here's the one that kind of worries me the most. We found a carburetor in the back of the seat. It looks very old and it's pretty seized up. Makes me wonder why I didn't bring my spare carburetor, but you know, you can't think of everything. But we never checked under the air cleaner. Hopefully there's a carburetor there, but here's a spare. It is a Carter 1-barrel carburetor. So yeah, we're just gonna tuck that stuff back up behind the seat, get this out of the area. Oh yeah, there's a chainsaw chain just kind of hanging off the shifter. I forgot to show you guys that one. But we're gonna tuck that stuff back up underneath the seat, and then we're gonna start working on the power barn. So one thing I thought was suiting, my grandfather, when I first started doing mechanics, he gave me, I had my blue International box from Princess Auto, but he gave me this nice old red box. This has been now replaced and he's long gone now, but you know, this red box has survived much more work and actual field repair than that blue box that I bought from Princess Auto ever did. And you know, this red box is still kicking on. So I thought it would be suiting that Grampy's old box is fixing Grampy's old truck. So kind of neat. Very first thing that we're gonna do, let's see if this guy's locked up. Normally, you have to put on these Fords a 7/8 or a 15/16 socket on the bottom, but we actually lucked out here. It's the lazy man's way of doing things. This is a Directo drive fan on this. No fan clutch on this puppy. So let's see. Put a little tension on the belt. Well, the crank is moving, and I get a full rotation out of it. Good. All right, we got one full rotation out of this entire engine. That means it's not locked up, which is awesome. So, next thing we want to check, what's going on inside this air cleaner? What's going on inside the air cleaner? Let's see if I can take this off by hand. Oh, good, it's super hand tight. That's worrisome since we found a carburetor inside the, you know, inside the truck. But that's okay. Take this guy off. See what's going on in here. Alright, so yeah, we got the carburetor. It's a little sticky on the electric choke. Throttle's not stuck, which is awesome. There's a lot of pieces that need plugs or something attached to them, but that's okay, we can deal with that. But it looks to be like it's all in one piece. So our Carter 1-barrel is all set up there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to our distributor. Pull the cap off this guy. Let's quickly take a peek at what's going on underneath this. All right, so the cap definitely needs a rigorous cleaning. Likely won't even fire with a cap like that. The rotor is kind of stuck on it. Rotor's in decent shape, tell you the honest truth, needs to be cleaned up like everything else. So I'm gonna clean those guys up right now. Can't say it's without danger. Here we are gonna clean up the distributor cap. I felt something just nailing into my arm. As you can see, got a nice welt right there, starting to swell up. But right in there, the old brake clean saved the day. There was a gigantic wasp, like about that big, and I just nailed the friggin' guy to death. So he's long dead. But he literally just came out of nowhere, landed on my arm, and started just going to town. What do you think about that?
I'm glad it wasn't me.
I'm glad it wasn't you.
Yeah, you're
right.
Much more delicious, I guess.
All right, let's continue on with the regular scheduled programming. All right, so we're just gonna kind of clean up the rotor, just like so. Make it all shiny. Clean up our top button, just like so. I'm gonna clean the cap just off camera there. It's kind of cumbersome to get at, but it's the exact same idea. Basically, file this down, make it all shiny, make those all shiny, throw it back together. We got our distributor, our button, and our cap all cleaned up. We actually had to get in there with a knife too, because there was some caked on stuff, but I think we got it all set up. I think we got it all rigged up. I don't think there's a big problem there now. So now what we're gonna do is simply, we're gonna check our plugs and our wires. Oh, that one's an interesting one. Maybe bring it on and hear you there for a second. Do you see this? Watch the spark plug. We never touched this yet. You see that? See how loose that guy is? we're gonna pull this spark plug and just see what's going on inside. So yeah, give me a second there. Pulled the spark plug out of that cylinder right there. Turns out I only brought impact sockets for 13/16 and up. It just so happens that a 13/16 deep impact socket is still thin enough to fit. But there we go, that's the spark plug. As you can see, it's actually not that bad on the ground strap or anything like that. I think it was just loose, to tell you the honest truth. So we're gonna go through all these. I might pull each plug, just kind of quickly clean them, hit them with a little bit of a wire brush, clean them up, put them back in, you know, get them how tight they're supposed to be, and then we should be able to move on from there. So let's start working on that. We pulled each and every spark plug wire, gave them a quick audit, you know, took a good look at them. They actually turn out to be pretty good shape, which is awesome. All the plugs, there was no burning oil or anything. They all really needed to be cleaned. So all we use is a little wire brush here, nice and easy. Put a little bit of anti-seize on them, made them all nice, happy, hunky-dory, all that good stuff. But one thing we did notice as we were changing the spark plugs, we finally figured out what this guy's for. This is a fuel tank. As you can see, it was detached. It got some dirt daubers or some type of dirt thing inside that fuel line, but that's our fuel pump, and it was running right off of this guy. So makes you wonder what's going on with that tank. But we're gonna check on a couple more fluids real quick. We're gonna check our fluid, your brake master cylinder. Okay, so there's fluid in there. It's not very happy. There's a lot of crud in there, but there is stuff in there. So what we might actually do, we have brake fluid here, we might just rejuvenate up on this real quick. All we're gonna do is kind of let this guy gush over real quick. Just like so. Not bad. Not bad at all. So, small development. We've had these gigantic hornets flying around for quite a long time. We couldn't figure out where they were. They're living in the fender, in the holes of this fender on this F350. So, we gotta try to eradicate these. And we're gonna have to figure it out. So, yeah, let's see what we can do. Current plan. The hornets are getting super aggressive and they live in the fender of that F350. So we're gonna go down to the general store, see if we can find some insecticide, some Raid, you know, and show them who's boss. Because we're running out of brake cleaning, we need that stuff. So yeah, let's go see what we can find. Those big old super yellow jacket hornet things, they were right there. There's still a couple of them running around, as you can see, but their home is completely annihilated. So I'm just gonna spot those guys real quick, and then we're gonna keep on working. What we gotta do here, this battery is obviously pooched. We got our battery cables here. This is our ground lead. No, that's our positive lead to our starter. This is our ground lead right here. We're gonna remove this battery completely. Even though it for somehow still has a little bit of a charge, it's nothing. We have some red tops we're gonna throw into this guy. So I got my little battery cleaner. We're gonna clean up through here. Ideally it needs new posts, but we don't have that, so that's all good. Alright, so let's see how much oil's in it. Oh, there's enough to play around with. It's a little low. Oh, it's actually dead on the money. That other dot is just to see if you have oil. There's your ad, there's your safe. Alright, well, it's been sitting long enough. I don't need to wipe it off. It's whatever oil is in there has settled down. Alright, so I think what we're gonna do, I'm gonna remove this air cleaner for now. And let's just see if this truck turns over. Alright, let's see if it turns, if it does the thing. Oh, there's a butterfly in here. Oh, no. It was trash.
Oh.
Oh. So it does whirl over. It didn't sound very gallopy, It's a good sign by my end. What I'm doing right now is I'm disconnecting the fuel to our carburetor because frankly I don't trust it. The fact that it was bypassed and it's running off a small can there makes me wonder what's exactly going on with this tank. And then this right here is like an adapter type fuel filter type wheelie dealie. So we're going to remove him as well, and we'll just make sure that fuel can get through this. Good? Good. But what we're going to do, I have him all set up there. If you come over here and look, I have the input to our fuel pump. It is set up to basically our big old water line. And all we're going to do for right now, we're going to run the jerry can off to the water line, and then that's going to cycle up. And basically we're going to purge out all this bad fuel that's right inside this line here. Once it starts to get going good, after that, we'll do some other things, but basically we want to purge all the old fuel that's just kind of sitting in this line. So let me take the jerry can. Got our good old jerry, and all we're going to do is plumb that guy right inside there. So now when we turn the key, this should fill up with fuel, and then you should be able to watch that. So let's see what happens. The fuel was only coming up to here. Most likely the diaphragm's dry in the pump. I don't think the pump's bad. So what we're going to do, we're basically just going to wet the pump from that side, cycle it a little bit. There we go. Got a little bit of fuel. Let that cycle down. Touch our pump. We're going to hold that like that, Clay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle the key, and that should hopefully bleed into the diaphragm. Did it do anything?
It sucked some of the fuel.
Okay. Do it again. How about now?
I think it sucked most of it. I think there's still some there though. There you go. Yeah, coming out good. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
That was one of the problems. Needed fuel to soak into that diaphragm, get it to be able to pump fuel again. So now, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna plug this line back in. I'm gonna fill up our vent. We're gonna see if maybe it might start. Yeah, let's try that. We don't know if we have a spark system based off that Duraspark box, but now we know we have a fuel system, at least a Jimmy rigged type fuel system at best. So let's see if we can get this guy to fire up. Oh, hold on. I'm stupid. Turn on. Where's the other can? Must be these ones coming back to roost.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that their exits are fucked. Alright, you feeling?
Mm-hmm.
All set?
Oh yeah.
Alright, so let's see how she goes. Let's see if she starts up.
Guess we're driving it home right now.
Look at that. It's even idling, which is awesome. It's running really rough, but, you know, might also be because of all these vacuum lines we got unplugged. it is running.
You're heading in the right direction, though. The right direction. It's a joke because your right flasher's on. It wasn't funny. You should have laughed anyway, though, just to make me feel better. What was that?
Running pretty good. Not gonna lie. Alright, so we got it running. There's no coolant in it right now, so we're gonna have to go shut off the key and fill it up with some coolant real quick. But yeah, then let's see if it can move out of its hole that it's in. Here we go. So we're gonna start this up and see if it gets up to operating temp. And then if it does, then we're gonna move it out of here. Pretty darn good. Kind of runs bad right now, but once it gets up to operating temp, we'll hit it with the old seafoam treatment there. Exhaust leaks on her, but that's okay. But yeah, we're gonna let it warm up, get it all hot. We're gonna make sure that this thermostat housing opens up. So I'm just gonna put my bar here, give it a rat-tat-tat, right where the thermostat meets up. Make sure that she's all free. Try not to get my hand caught in the fan. What we got here is a can of seafoam. We're gonna run the seafoam through this carburetor. Get a little dollop here and a little dollop there. Kind of break off the carbon inside this thing. Even though it's running pretty good for what it is. So before I started up this truck, I got her going, max heat, max fan, get that heater core circulating the new fluid. Oh geez. it's an ongoing battle with these damn wasps. They're everywhere. It's crazy. It's nuts. So if you notice, fuel gauge obviously non-functional. That's all right. But maybe if we filled it with fuel, it might go up, but there's a reason it's disconnected. We got to figure out why. Oil pressure is good. It says it's charging. We'll see. And normal, or on these Fords, it's either not working or it is. We're right in the middle. That's exactly where we want it. What we're going to do now is we basically want to see if it's going to be charging or not. So what we got for voltage is we got 1202. I'm just going to kind of stab these guys in here, just kind of like so. I'm going to go start it up. We're still running off the jerry can for now. So yeah, we're trying to figure out why it's not charging. The alternator seems to be outputting all right. Well, I found a bunch of green right here by our voltage regulator. This guy right here, he goes into our voltage regulator on this, and there's some wires that aren't even connected anymore. So we're gonna unravel this guy and likely connect them back just how they are and see what we can do, but we might go through all of these connections just real quick, just make sure that they're all right. All right, so I wanted to show you guys something. This is all what the voltage regulator was reading. Just one strand, that's all. Oop. Oh, she gone. So yeah, I'm gonna repair this harness, likely look at these other bits,
monstrosities,
just real quick there, and see what's going on. So we're gonna do that off camera just because it's a little bit of busy work, but once we get it all figured out, we'll bring you guys back. So yeah, just give me a sec. We replaced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 connections. There's a harness about this big from our voltage regulator to our alternator. So we're going through the harness, and anyway, we started to undo some, and we found one of our main charge wires. It's green and completely broken off. So we're gonna replace that. I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. So I'm gonna completely take apart this harness, make sure it's all okay on our charge system, and then we're gonna repair that wire right there. So I'll bring you guys back if I find anything more. We fixed the wiring that was going on around here for the rack, or for the alternator. We're at 1269, 1270. Let me rev it up. So it's a little weak, but we are charging, and that's all that matters.
A few moments later.
What are we doing now, Mr. Colt?
Well, you guys are late to the party. As you can see, there's no longer a fan shroud on this thing, and that's because the fan shroud decided to jump into the fan. Then the fan decided to derby it into the rad. Now we got a big old hole in the rad, so that's awesome, and we can't plug that. So yeah, now we got a hemorrhaging rad, no coolant, that kind of stuff. It's great. What we do have to worry about now is pulling this radiator out. So that's what we're gonna do. 2 10mm bolts here. I'm gonna try my best to find something to clamp these guys off, and we'll go from there. So we got the rad off, and I'm gonna show you show and tell here. This is my pointing stick. Follow the pointing stick. This is what happened. The fan came in, and a piece busted right through, right there. You see that hole? Right where I'm kind of poking? Bingo bango.
How could they miss it?
I don't know. But yeah, this is not what you're supposed to do. I'm not saying get rid of your fans and everything. I've only patched tanks on rads before. I've never patched tubes, so I really want to know where all the problems are. So we're going to come in. I'm going to be real delicate, and I'm going to try to fill that patch up with solder. So yeah, here we go. Gonna blast the skim off of it. As we're waiting for that rad to kind of cool down, we can see if we fixed our problem. We're gonna make this guy whole again. Give her a new lease on life. Basically, fix the Ford emblem. That's what we need to do. There. That should, hopefully, stay just right there. Hold her on just like that. And it should dry. Allegedly. So, what did we do today? Today, basically, we got there, and first things first, we went through the spark plug system. We got the spark system all happy. It would have never ran with the distributor cap that it had on it. Clean that up. Ooh, jeez. Would have never ran with the rotor that was in it. Clean that up. Check the spark plugs. One was finger tight, wobbly. It would have just shot out of the block. Checked all the spark plugs, cleaned all the spark plugs. would have likely ran with the spark plugs in it, but wouldn't have ran very well. Then we disconnected the fuel pump down on the bottom, the main feed, and disconnected the input to the carburetor. Ran clear hose to the jerry can, test the fuel pump. Fuel pump wasn't running, so we rehydrated the diaphragm in the fuel pump. It now works. Shot it up to the carb, filled the vent, boom bada bing, it fired right up. It actually sat there and idled, ran really poorly at the very beginning, but we got it to temp, ran seafoam through it, all that good stuff. Then from there, we basically started to tackle the charging system on the truck, fix a whole bunch of broken wires, and that's kind of where we're at right now. Some things that went horribly wrong is there was a fan shroud on the top. The fan shroud completely exploded and decided to puncture a hole right in our rad. That's awesome. Not really. So we made a nice little quick fix on that. We'll see if it holds. If not, we got a couple other ideas we can try. But there's still a lot to do on this truck in order for us to drive it home. So we're going to go pick up some supplies. We'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, you're talking to Colt in the future on day 2. This is Colt in the future talking to you for Colt in the past. Basically, I was supposed to make an intro for day 2. Here it is. Let's keep working on this F350. Yeah. Obviously, we can't drive this vehicle home if we don't have a functioning fuel tank. We could always run a jerry can inside the truck, but that's not exactly the best way to do it. The fuel tank's right here. I don't know why it's been bypassed, but we're gonna basically drop this sucker and see what's going on inside. It's gonna be fairly easy. Just 2 big saddle bolts held up by chains. I'll take those guys right off. We have our big old impact here, and we should be all set. We took the tank off, and I'll show you why my grandfather bypassed this thing. Take my hammer here. You know, it's completely rotten out right here on the top of the saddle. But I want to show you something here. Hand me that. This tank was a brand new tank when it went on. See if I can get some light here. You see that? There. See that? All brand new on the inside. So, kind of a shame, but because it's a saddle tank and it's just chain hookup and one main inlet, low pressure, we should be able to put any type of tank right there. So we're gonna go see if we can find a tank for this guy and strap him up. We got a new tank, well, new to us. It was inside the weeds, basically, all filled with mud, dirt, everything like that. Just a junk tank off an old car, random car, whatever. But it's around the same dimensions as our Ford, and we destroyed the sending unit off this tank trying to get it out, but that's exactly what we want to do anyway. We got a ton of JB weld, so we're going to JB weld our good sending unit for this truck, or our kind of maybe good sending unit from this truck onto that, and then this is where we're going to fill up our fuel. We'll figure out a cap situation on that, but right now no bolts around here, but we got a whole bunch of mechanics wire, so 2 loops, whole bunch, that's never gonna go anywhere. So
that ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere. So we're all set there. This was just held up by chains anyway before, so why screw with a recipe that worked? So we're gonna basically do that and we'll be all set. So we'll see you when we got this tank up. We got the tank, it's all squared up there. It's not gonna go nowhere.
It ain't going nowhere.
But now we run into the problem that this is an unknown tank. We have no idea what it's for. It's basically just a housing for gas. But we have to make it a forward able tank. So what we're doing, we're mixing up some JB weld there, and we're gonna just JB weld this sending unit right to the top of this tank, because this tank is only temporary. It only has to get us to where we got to go, and then we'll make up a better solution later on. But we need it to hold pretty darn good. So we're gonna JB weld this whole entire sending unit right here, right on top of that tank as well. Jam that little guy in there, and then once that's all squared up, then we just have to figure out what we're going to do for the fill part. We took the best parts off the steel tank and retrofitted onto our junkyard garbage. I'm not even going to say junkyard tank, I'm going to call it a garbage tank, as it was just sitting in bushes filled with mud and water. But we cleaned it all out. We got this guy's silicone self-tapped on, he shouldn't leak. We made our own JB Weld authenticated sending unit, and actually the sending unit and all that stuff should reach. I just have to add a junction line. There's some hose clamps to go to the main line there, but we're gonna let that sit for a while because, you know, it's held together by JB Weld and silicone, so we're gonna have to wait on that one. But in the meantime, we got to do an oil change on this. We got to do a whole bunch of stuff. Let me bring you guys around. We got this nice little Wix filter here. We got a mix of 1540 and ATF that we're going to be running for engine oil in this. It's cut about with about 15% ATF in this drum. It's going to help rejuvenate and loosen up all that crud that's inside this engine as, you know, we drive it home. So that's all right. Got our little bit of oil here. So let's shoot underneath the truck and see what we see. It should come out good. There we go. And we'll try to catch all the oil with this because it's going to slowly move around. Hopefully our pan's big enough. That would suck. All right, gonna come in here, all sneaky like. The filters on these 300i6 are right off to the side here. Easy enough to get.
Ooh, there you go.
Perfect. There we go. Take our frame and throw it in the trash. So we're gonna jam a Wix inside it. Oh, get her done right, you know. All right, filter's on. Let's fill it up with some oil. I know this belt is super floppy, and we're gearing up to start this up, check the oil and all that stuff. We're just gonna tighten up this power steering pump. Let's try it again. It's not happy to move.
It's kind of like got a little bit of Bluetooth action going on though, where the front kind of moves a little more than the the back, but it's okay.
Well, there we go. I think maybe that's loose enough now that we can put a primer in it. There, that's nice and tight. We should actually check the power steering pump, make sure that there's something in it. I don't know if there is. Ooh. This is power steering fluid for all you guys that don't know. Definitely not the same oil that we just put inside the engine. That would be crazy. Alrighty, so let's see if we can start the guy back up as we're still waiting for our tank to fully cure. So we're running it off the jerry can again, but this This is also going to test our rad, so let's see what happens. Pretty good now. Still out of the jerry can until we can get that fuel tank all primed up. We're just waiting on it to cure. I blew through that line and there's no obstructions on the other side, so it in theory should be nice and clean, but we're going to put a nice little fuel filter right there anyway. Let's slip that guy on there, just like so. And now, we'll hose clamp him on. Alright, so, fuel system does not like jerry cans. Alright, so, we got our fuel in here. Right now there's a small problem. We made our tubes a little too short for the tank. Retrofitted tank off the side. The tubes don't reach until you fill it with 60 liters of fuel, so not exactly ideal. We're trying to remedy that in the morning, but I'm gonna get up inside this and see if I can scoot it around the yard. So yeah, let's see. So, it does move, which is pretty darn good. So, yeah. Let's keep on moving on. You ready to try this out, Clay? Nice little buzzer there. So, YouTube's gonna hate me for the copyright, but I wanted to show you guys something. This afternoon by 27. Radio works too. Full on heater. The only thing that doesn't work, but it does turn on, is the Breaker 19 there. And she doesn't do the thing, but she does turn on.
The rubber duck call?
The rubber duck call. So, yeah, let's go explore. Oh. So this poor old truck, it's likely been down here a couple times in its life. It's likely the last time it's ever going to be down here in its life. So, let's go see what we can see. Alright, so first is a very low gear, obviously. You can't just switch into it.
So it's a different transmission than your blue truck.
I think it's yeah, I think it's a 435. I don't think it's a T19, because that would have been low enough for first in a T19. So we're gonna pull off. Oh jeez.
Doing a lot of of crunching there, my guy.
Not used to this first gear. So we're gonna pull off there. Likely won't start again. And we're gonna go show you guys some stuff. See, all of this is gonna be going to a new owner. We're just kind of cleaning up. But this is really cool. Up in here, there's an old truck, really old. It's a Chevrolet, just hanging out inside the forest. It's old enough, fellas. I think this is lever brakes. Lever brakes. Check that out. What do you think about that? 2-speed rear end, high and low. Caesar salad, but you know. But it's a nice little sweetheart. Would have been a semi truck. Whole bunch of nice stuff. That right there, you'd remove the floor, access your transmission, battery, all that kind of stuff. When's the last time you saw one of those guys? GM Master, that's your heater in there. Heater cores inside that. Whole bunch of neat, cool stuff. This right here is what the truck looks like from the front. Bumpers all there, grills all there. Check that out. Chevy, I don't know if you can see that, but it actually says Chevrolet right there. This used to be chrome, obviously. It's all coiled back. I'm not sure what this is, what kind of truck this is or anything like that. So if you know, put it down in the comments. But this guy, he's likely going to stay here forever, and it'll be a nice little treasure for the new owners to find. But yeah, let's keep keeping on in our old Ford truck and see what we can see. No, the truck's just an old sweetheart. We got her pretty far back now, to tell you the honest truth, and it's just humming along. Really, no real problems whatsoever. Good old farm truck.
Big hill.
Yeah.
Hi-Ho Stable Garage can do it.
Na 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 na.
Big.
That's why we brought the Gatorades. If you look, we brought a whole bunch of Gatorades in case we gotta go walking there, so. Oh geez, yeah, this is high up. Yeah, I don't think our window rail is there much anymore.
Grampy was going to actually... Oh, there you go.
The good thing is, all the fuel is currently going to the back.
You're getting the maximum usage.
It's true. Still no gas gauge, so that kind of sucks. But that's okay. This truck is going to be leaving this place, going to a new home, aka our home. But it's going to be leaving this place where it's been for quite a long time. So I thought it was suited to taking on one last voyage. We didn't go the whole entire property, but we went a good amount. So yeah, we'll see you guys back down at the tent. Alrighty, first maiden voyage. We just did the voyage out back. Let's see if we can do the voyage on the street. Starts right up, Old Faithful. Everything seems to work fine. We'll see if it can handle the street. We're gonna go get some tires. See if we can go find some. We got the safety truck right behind us, so let's see what we can do. Here we go. Down the street we go. Well, she made it all safe and sound. Granted, that was only a couple kilometers down the road, but hey. So we got to deal with these tires right here. As you can see, they're pretty weather cracked. Like right there, right there. It's all 6. So we got to go hunting, put some tires in the back. We're going to go find what we can find. All right, so we're gearing up for the long trip. We're just kind of looking for parts here. So far we've got 2 fuel pumps. Ours is spurting out, but it's still running the truck, so we just kind of want to have some spares. Who knows if this is good? Likely isn't, but that's okay. We found 6 dump tires that we're going to be putting on, so yeah, let's start getting working at it. So yeah, this is why we're changing the tires. If you look, you don't only have stress cracks going like this, you got stress cracks going like that, like that, like that. They're all over the place, and it's a damn shame because the tires are actually really good tread, but these are definitely gonna explode. So yeah, I'll show you guys how we're gonna change them up here. Take this guy, the valve stem right out of it. Take a small little valve stem, nothing fancy. We're just gonna break the bead with our combination of our eyelet and basically the weight of this truck. Here you go. We got the rim off the tire. It was a battle, but we got one off, and turns out we don't have enough soap to do all 6, so we're gonna have to share. So we're taking some soap off that one. But we got our tire all set up. We're going for a smaller tire on the front just because it was there. And then we got actually the same size tires on the back. There we go. That tire is now on that rim. Now we just got to pump it up. Let's see if we can put this guy back on here. There we go. So there's one tire. Only took 2 hours. Really good. You got that one.
Oh my god. That one looks like it's gonna explode.
This one would never have made it. I'm surprised it even made it this far for what we were dealing with. Like that's horrendously bad. Might even be able to unseat it just by jumping. No, I'm not that lucky. We got our tires all set up and everything. They're a little on the short side, but they won't blow up, which is good. Hopefully I don't eat my words. But let's check the lights and let's see just what exactly works on this truck. As for what works, right now we should have marker lights. Okay, there's no marker lights. 3 out of the 5 top lights are working. We're missing one marker, but we got both of our sealed beams. We're missing one side light as well. That's not bad odds, really. That signal working? We have signal bulbs. That's pretty cool. Let's try the other side. You might as well stay there, right? Okay, so we got no signal on that side. That's all right. So we just don't have a light on that side. We have signal here. No signal on this side. That's all right. All right. So let's check high beam. So we got high beam. Let's go check brake light. All right, so no brake light. It's not bad odds for it just sitting. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pillage as many lights as we can off that truck over there. There's a couple other vehicles here that kind of have the same lights, which are good. But I think the reason why these backlights aren't working is the wiring's a little bit hanging. I think it got hung up on something and just started ripping. They heard we were having trouble with signal lights, so they came to help out. I raised my chickens with 100% chocolate chip cookie.
And it shows.
Oh, Velociraptor, how far you have fallen. The fact that the brake line doesn't work. I don't know what kind of fucking fuckery happened. Because if I try and plug it here, we'll be able to see where the problem is.
This chicken's following us now.
And you know what, my chicken. But they don't want to go far away in case they get cookies again. Alright, so the time has finally come. Dawn, or dusk is upon us. We gotta wait a little bit longer for night. Not for any unscrupulous reason, but we're gonna be driving this little honey home there. We have all the lights working, all the tail lights working, all that stuff. We did a complete front to back. Let's go an overview actually. So what did we do to this whole thing? Well, we did a little bit of rust repair off camera. We did a brand new fuel system front to back, minus the fuel pump. It's like we're gonna bite us on the road, but we have 3 junkyard spares that are hopefully gonna hold it together. We put 6 brand used tires, new to us, definitely used, best the junkyard could provide. A couple junkyard light bulbs. We filled it with gas. We did an oil change. We rewired the alternator system, the charging system. We got a complete rad working. Then we blew it up, and then we had to junkyard fix it. It didn't work, so we ended up splicing it all together. It's holding water and it's holding pressure. So I thought I would just kind of show this place once and last again, because this is the last time this old truck is going to be sitting here. It will likely never be here again. The place is sold. It's up. The new owners are going to be arriving anytime. So we just got my grandfather's truck out of here in the nick of time. So now, will it drive a lot of kilometers home? Only time will tell. Let's try her out.
Won't do it.
What'd you say?
What? I didn't say nothing.
All right, here we go. 300 plus kilometers home, baby. Yeah! See you home. So far, everything's going all right. Hubs are still cool and everything. Pay for the fuel, and then, you know, we'll keep on going. So far, everything's going just to plan. Everything's all tickety-boo. Grampy's taking care of us. Let's see if he'll take care of us all the way home. Let's get going. So, the truck, still warm to the touch. Absolutely no problems until the very end. We had a belt that started to squeal, but you know, we didn't even remedy that. We just drove it home. I think Grampy was looking over us and got us home all safe and sound. So, you'll be seeing this truck on the channel more and more, but obviously we got to do a little bit of work to it to kind of finalize some things. But yeah, drove over 300 kilometers after sitting for 10, 15 plus years, and it was only used off and on before that. So crazy stuff. So we'll see you guys in the next episode really soon. All right.